classifications, and you have to be aware. This pyramid also incidentally informs that there are a number of areas in which entrepreneurship could be developed. Okay, so level 1 is agriculture and other activities where crop production, plantation, forestry, livestock, fishing, mining, quarrying is taking place. So that is one thing. Mostly we call it as primary and ancillary sector. I mean, primary sector is agriculture, and ancillary and auxiliary units are these plantation, forestry, mining, quarrying, fishing, etc. So this is one area. People do not take agriculture as the profitable business, but still now you are into technological advancement, and you are into new innovative practices, etc. And therefore, agriculture is also has been proving successful, and you can choose that. Then trading services, wholesale and retail trade, hotels and restaurants. That is the second. So that is what I was talking, that you are buying and selling the products, and it can be retail or wholesale. And all kind of service enterprises will come there, including health also. Then level 3 is the old economy or traditional sectors where manufacturing, electricity, gas and water supply. These are all very important infrastructure required inputs, and therefore they were there since humankind emerged in this planet Earth, and therefore they are called the old economy or traditional sector. The level 4 is the current emerging area, like emerging sectors including knowledge intensive sectors, information technology, finance, insurance, and business services, construction, community, social, personal services, transport, storage, communication, etc. You can give a best example here for outsourcing, event management. The last level 4, there are a number of new, like you have WhatsApp, you have internet, the social media, etc. With internet connection alone, with one system or laptop, even now the mobile will do with all facilities. No, you can make business, creating YouTubes and also conducting interviews, what is possible. That is one possibility. And if you take, for example, marriages or any other such organizing event, even in the professional context also, organizing international seminars, conferences, etc. is being outsourced, where people help in everything to go professional. So even marriages also in those days, everything will be arranged by the members of the family, the parents. But nowadays you can just go and tell that these are the things required, you make it. So we only pay money. So there is a market for that, and therefore people are into event management. Some of them are, they have just completed their MBA and involved in self-employment, and wherein you also must have read in some context A to Z services. So for any service you can approach them, they will do that. For example, ticket booking. We are not booking the ticket on our own, except a very few percentage. It is all online, so we do that. Or there is a service provider, and that is what I mean, the emerging sector. The RTC or the airport also, there are a number of agencies, traveling agents. They will be giving, and we have to pay some commission to them, and that is the payment. So this is the fourth sector is the emerging and mostly service-oriented sector. So there is no production taking place. And those days, when we feel any illness, we go to the doctor, we pay money, and even if it is a huge surgery, we pay from our pocket and come. But nowadays, it is all insurance covered. So insurance became a huge market, so that you can pay a premium of 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 or 1,000 per month when you for the total sum assured of like 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs. And then if any issues of accident or admitting to the hospital, then the insurance sector will take up your. So these are all the various areas in which you have services being delivered, and it can be done. So I would like to also, yes. I'd like to also inform the definition, the classification of micro, small, medium enterprises. We call MSME. For micro enterprises, it is up to 1 crore. in terms of investment in plant and machinery. In terms of turnover, it is 5 crore. For small enterprises, this is the latest definition. It is up to 10 crore for small and in terms of plant and machinery, whereas in terms of a turnover, it is 50 crore. And in the medium, it is up to 5 crore, 50 crore for plant and machinery. And if it is turnover, it is 50 crore. So just to understand that you can go up to 1 crore for micro enterprises. And micro enterprises have a lot of scope for subsidy, etc. So that is why I'm giving this definition also. And now it is, I hope the slides are moving. I'm moving to the 4th slide, where the support system, what are the support system for entrepreneurship is being exhibited. This is there are a huge number of agents, networks to be made. So if to be like you are there and you are listening to this lecture, and after that you may be intended to go for startups, and so you have to have a leadership. First and foremost is the leadership, and the government. There are a number of programs. That is what we are going to discuss here also. Government programs, and you have the culture. So there is a need for entrepreneurial culture, because in Indian context or in other countries, you always prefer to be a salary holder or a wage earner rather than a self-employed person, where you can become a boss to others instead of being bossed over by others. But unfortunately, that entrepreneurial culture is missing. And success stories, you have to read the success stories. And human capital is the laborers. So when you want to start an enterprise, you have to have both skilled and unskilled laborers to take care of all the work to be delivered. You need financial capital. You have because there are two different types of capital, working capital, financial capital. And this financial capital is required for recurring expenses. The capital which is the fixed capital or permanent capital will be in the form of plant and machineries, land, etc. So all these are required. Land, labor, capital, and organization, what we call in economics, are 4 factors of production, and they are very much required for the startup. Then entrepreneurship organizations, like we have the Women Entrepreneurs Association, we have the Tiruchirappalli Tiny and Small Industries Association, we have Tanskia, Belgia, etc., etc. They are all associations for industries, and it is also required. For you have to be part of that, and therefore, whenever there is any, for example, the price rise of inputs, you can jointly represent to the government to reduce the price. That is what in the textile sector, when the yarn prices go up, there is an organization called Textile Sector Entrepreneurs Association. So they will represent collectively. So for that, it is required. And even for every other things also, it is required. Education is very important. It is in the traditional context. Even in my own study, when I did PhD in 87-90, it was revealed that most of the entrepreneurs in the BHL, in Bangalore, in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, in Andhra, etc., they had only school education or even school dropouts. Even people would say that Ambani, Adani, and here in Tamil Nadu also, several entrepreneurs, they were all school dropouts. Some of them were child laborers. But with sheer determination, they have come up and became entrepreneurs. And therefore, education wasn't a requirement at all earlier. But now it is very much required, because you are working online, you have to deal with the people, you have to deal with all these organizations, the departments, etc. So you necessarily need education. Then infrastructure, so whatever, the land, the communication, the transport, and the road, very much accessible. It is you have a huge factory, but it is not connected with the road, then it is a difficult process for you to lay down the road also to transport the products. And the transport facilities, accessible transport facilities are not there, then your cost of production will go up. And therefore, infrastructure is also very much required. Economic clusters and networks also. Economic clusters is one where same type of industries will come together and work. Networks, very, very important. That's what I was talking about, organization. So you have to have an association organization with everyone. Support services, early customers, and leadership. So these are the important requirement. And in this slide, I have explained in detail each the role of each one. Like I was talking about leadership, where unequal support from others, whether it is the family or the professional context, social legitimacy for that, everything is required. Like government also, you need financial capital. What are the required things like micro loans, venture capital? And the government, you have the government support system, financial system, regulatory framework, because like I was just explaining the definition of micro small enterprises. So that is what I mean, the regulatory framework. Or there has to be some kind of a reservation for small micro enterprises products. There are more than 1,000 and odd products which are reserved for small and micro enterprises by the government of India and government of Tamil Nadu, and that will help them to sustain, because you have to face a lot of competition from the huge enterprises, and therefore it is all the more required for government also to define the regulatory framework. So similarly, you have many other with all these, like social norms, non-governmental institutions, support profession, infrastructure, education, labor, etc. The policy from the government will determine, and due to want of time, I am just skipping the explanation of every component. And I have shared already to our college, and they will be sharing this to you also, where you can go through again. And for each everything, whatever the government support system, website details are there. Therefore, whatever I speak will be just giving information about the kind of support system available. For each support system, please go through the what I should say, the websites, respective websites. So this is the startup ecosystem. So we were discussing about the startups, and that is what are the ecosystem, what are the basic requirements to startup. So the first and foremost is the entrepreneurial culture. So you have to have that entrepreneurial culture or entrepreneurship in you. When you don't feel yourself entrepreneurial is risk-taking, facing uncertainty, bringing all practice together to produce, take risks. There will be losses. You have to face that. You have to prepare to face that, etc. Then experienced mentors. So you have to go and discuss with people who have been in the field for long. They know better than the new entrant like you. Regulatory environment. So what are the rules to be followed? Whether I can start this enterprise here? Will pollution control board clear this? Will the electricity connection be there? Will the government provide all access to communication, transport, and road facilities? All these stuff, everyone should be familiar with. Then collaborative culture. So it's always good that you collaborate. If, say, for example, start organizing a seminar. So even here, if you collaborate with 2-3 departments, you can divide the work and deliver better. And therefore, collaboration in entrepreneurship or enterprise development is also equally rewarding. And therefore, you try to collaborate with the experienced organization, and after some time, you can withdraw and go on your own. Visible successes. So try to see who are all the shining personalities here. For example, I was talking about the Antani or Ambani or any other enterprises, people who are, we talk about Tata, Birla, JRD, Tata, etc. So how they established, what were the mantras they have followed to stay in the business, how they could go to the top, what were the strategies they followed, etc. So you try to focus on those things, and you will definitely become successful. Risk tolerance. So whenever there is any failure, you should not give up. It is ups and downs. You have to face for both, prepared for both loss making and profit making. Profit making, well and good. Loss making, how to rectify it and go further so that I won't get stuck here and render, because loss making and stopping the enterprise and production or industry is not just an issue with your own. There are hundreds of employees, laborers employed, and their life also is in question. During the pandemic, several units were closed up, and people who worked there for 20 years together, 15 years together, had to go unemployed. And how will they? Some of them have gone already for loan, housing loan, EMIs to be paid, or vehicle loan, whatever. So one fine morning, you are saying that work is not there and sending them off, and therefore it is also, you must keep in mind that it is not just monetary loss, but even loss to the workers who otherwise depended only on our wage must also be kept in mind. Then availability of capital, yeah, whether working capital, that is everyday requirement, or the fixed capital, both are required. Then technical skill, that is very, very important. If you are not technically sound, then people will not respect you. You have to, when you start your enterprise, you have to be careful. Next slide. It is about startup registration. What are the process involved, the steps involved? So step one is incorporate your business. So you have to decide that this is my business. So I'm going to take up, as I was talking, jaggery production from the sugarcane. Just taking sugarcane from the company to the from the field, I'll just go here and take that processing done. Immediately I go and sell that jaggery there in the market. So you incorporate your business and you try to see whether you are able to do it on your own or with some partnerships. Step two, register with Startup India. So there is a scheme called Startup India. You have to register that. Then get DPIIT recognition. So this is the Department of Program Implementation and Technology, and they will also give a recognition once you apply. There is a public application form. Then step 4 is recognition of application. So you have submitted and that has to be recognized by the concern. And documents for registration. So whatever documentation, I think I have a slide as to what are the documents to be produced in order to register yourself under SSI. Now it is all online, so you can just do it within a day or two. Then recognition of the number. So once the documents are given, the number will be given and you will be getting a registration number and other areas. Okay. So now, what are the 3 important components of startup? So, and what are the institutions or the provisions available for startup? So there are 3. The startup process could be divided into 3. One is the handholding, second is funding, third is incubator. So the handholding section, particularly, it will be the area where people in general, including the entrepreneurs, may not be informed or may not have had any. One second. Legal knowledge about startup, and therefore first and foremost is to have the legal support. And if it is whether it is inside or outside, particularly it's very important for export industries to get the IPR, copyright, etc. So intellectual property right, that there are a number of ways which you want to have immediately. There is a fast track, and if it is not, then you can just go on the process. There are also concessions, etc. available, which I have described there. Then exit process. Supposing if you have, these are all like whenever there is an issue of industry being declared as sick, then government, you can approach the government, and there are a number of schemes where the sick industries will be revived and support system will be provided. So this is what I mean, the handholding, where legal support, IPR and exit process support will be provided. The next component is the funding or incentives. Like You have to incentivize people to become entrepreneurs, because everyone prefers to go to work and get salary rather than start an MBA. Who is that? Students, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, whoever is doing this. Yeah, thank you. So you please keep inform me when the slides are not moving. I kept saying. Now I am presenting the components. There are three components: handholding, funding, incentives. They are not presented at all. Nobody has said no. You could see the slides there, students. Please tell me. Are you getting it or not? Whoever is there, please respond. Are you getting the slides presented? Yeah, that is what I kept saying. If it is not, please tell me. Why it is not going? I wonder.
Yes, ma'am, the screen is visible now.
Okay. So I have already done some. This is the one I have finished. You haven't seen all these. I'm just asking you. So I'm on 9th slide now. Because without slides, it is difficult to understand. That is why I prepared slides and showing. So please, if the slide screen is blank, please do inform me. You unmute and talk to me. Okay. So I was talking about funding and incentives. So incentives is to be given for every entrepreneur to be motivated. So funds of funds being provided by SIDBI, the Small Industries Development Bank of India, and you also have the credit guarantee support system is available. That is also one of the sources of funding. Then you do have tax exemptions. That is the third component. So funding comes in three ways. One is about the support of seed money, etc. The second is credit guarantee. Third is the tax exemptions. And third component of startup is the incubator, where industry, academia, you all know now what is happening. Ministry of Education has funded this project of awareness program with IIC. So this is one industry, such as academic programs. You can also have a collaborative program with industries, that will be industry innovation program. And you can hold a competition, and best proposals could be even in our university, we have Bharatidasan University Entrepreneurship and Innovation Hub, supported by Ministry of Education, where we are providing support to the students for startup. The seed money of 10 lakhs is being given, and you can provide, as I said, very competitive proposals, and got it sanctioned, and you can start enterprise. Then events organized. Startup fest could be organized. Like you can invite all the entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, and have a celebration, whatever. Okay, I'm moving to the next slide. Just check whether this. Yeah. So government support to entrepreneurs. So this is the topic I'm supposed to. So far, I have just given an introduction. So, it's half an hour. To protect, support, and promote small enterprises, help them become self-supporting. So there are a number of support available to the entrepreneurs: industrial extension services, institutional support, training, and also machinery supply or hire purchase schemes. And wherein NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation, provides machinery support and also marketing support. And if you go to NIC, all the departments are available here in Trichy, and you can follow that. assistance for domestic marketing as well as exports, special incentives for setting up of enterprise, backward areas, etc. Then technical consultancy. So these are the various programs available, support system available to the entrepreneurs. And you also have um, national entrepreneurship development board. So this is very important, and it devises and recommends to the government the schemes for promotion of entrepreneurship, for encouraging self-employment in small-scale industries, and it also recommends suitable facilities and incentives available. So when you approach the National Entrepreneurship Development Board website, you will get to know all these details. Then role of financial institutions. Very, very important area is the financial need or finance itself. So there are different types of financial institutions. It can be bank and non-banking institutions. So non-banking institutions include, apart from all the banks, whatever the banks know, apart from that, there are non-bank financial institutions, microfinance institutions, even Tamil Nadu, the state finance corporations. Here in Tamil Nadu, it is Tamil Nadu Industrial Investment Corporation. They are all non-bank financial institutions. They are not actually banks, but they still extend support. So these financial institutions and their role include regulation on monetary supply, banking services, insurance services, capital formation, then financing small and medium enterprises, investment advice, pension fund services, trust fund services, etc., etc. And the schemes and incentives promoted available for the promotion of entrepreneurship include capital investment subsidy scheme, that is by the central government, sales tax exemptions, state government, provision of seed capital, provision of concessional power and water. This is a local body. So there are three tier. One is the central government, the other one state government, the third one is the local body. So in order to get that provisions like water, etc., or any clearances, like you cannot organize, introduce a startup, go for a startup which is polluting in nature close to the residential area, and therefore you have to get permission and clearance, etc., from the pollution control board. So you have Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, where you have to get all these clearances. Only then, sometimes if you start without getting permission, anytime you will be evicted. Therefore, it is to be, you have to be careful. Then allotment of industrial sheds, export incentives and subsidies, subsidy for power generators, special incentives to women entrepreneurs, exemption from stamp duty, special concessions to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, preferential purchase from SSI. I already told some products are being reserved for SSI. So these are the services that the government is providing as incentives and services. For rural entrepreneurship also, you have a different support system. Entrepreneurship Development Institution Scheme is available. Rajiv Gandhi Uday Mitra Yojana is available, wherein small micro enterprises are being supported, self-help group are being supported there in rural areas, and rural artisans, rural industrial enterprises will also be supported. Performance and credit rating. The credit rating scheme, that is by NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation, where you have to produce all papers required in order to be supported for incentives and support credit systems, credit sanctions, and for that, and the National Small Industries Corporation will do the assessment. Then product development, design, intervention, and packaging. Khadi Garinger Janstri Bima Yojana for Khadi artisans, because in those days we were very much into the rural artisan products. We had our buttermilk, not Sprite or cocoa or Coke. We had our stone benches under the tree, the traditional cart, not the cushion cart with plastic chairs or whatever. So artisans were very much getting the jobs, and therefore there was no need for them to be protected. But nowadays they are all rendered unemployed because of the replacement done by buttermilk is replaced with the cool drinks, the aerated drinks, whether it is any brand of that type, and chairs, stone benches, and country carts are being replaced by plastic chairs and sofa, etc. And traditional minor millet-based products, காலையில களி சாப்பிட்டுட்டு போய் வயலுக்கு போவாங்க. Now it is all changed and you are into fast food, and fast food is not just found in cities, it is very much in the rural areas also. We have undertaken a huge study in Tamil Nadu on sanitation, water sanitation hygiene status, where we do travel to the interior villages, and in any part of the village you do find one or two shops which are completely engaged in what is that fast food. So whether it is noodles or fried rice or chicken 65 or what is this OP65. So these are all very common, and you don't think that it is only, it is also entrepreneurial. At least one or two boys or girls from that particular village became entrepreneurs, and they just work for 2-3 hours and they do make good money. And therefore you have to take the opportunity such that whatever is open, you have to be prepared to do that. And similarly, marketing support and urban amenities and rural waste. That Pura, that concept of our great president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, he was talking about that the rural areas alone, urban areas are alone benefited with the government schemes, but the rural urban amenities to rural areas must be provided. That is called Pura. Another major requirement or the scheme available is skill development and entrepreneurship. There are different ministries involved, and they are under single umbrella scheme. Under single umbrella, several ministries join together and render service to enhance the skill. And you have a separate skill development, National Skill Development Corporation, and in all the states also you have the State Skill Development Corporation. So this is the era where you try to inculcate entrepreneurship and also skill development, and particularly through the education institutions like colleges and universities and research institutes. So skill development is one area where you have Ministry of Skill Development Entrepreneurship, National Skill Development Corporation, National Skill Development Agency, National Skill Development Fund. All these are available and functioning only for the sake of promoting entrepreneurship and providing skill development. Where different departments are involved, Department of Electronics and Information Technology, Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Minority Affairs, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and you do have the DDU, Kausal Kendra, National Digital Mission, etc. And there are different, what you need is a holistic approach is required for skill development. It is not that you just offer skill and leave them to, no. Before that also you assess and you offer skill, and after that also assess what is the difference. In the beginning, what was the actual idea? After the skill development program, what is the idea? You will definitely see the difference, and that has to be capitalized. Like I have got interest, and that particular interest should be capitalized without postponing, both by the person and also the institution, whichever, the government or any, for example, college, whatever. So clean and unorganized approach towards skill development. India's first ever comprehensive policy framework on skilling. Over 50 skill development initiatives from 20 ministries. So all 20 ministries to come together to offer skill development. That is what we have been calling it as a convergence. It's not that you're all there concentrated on one ministry, but there is another ministry which is completely lacking hands to offer training. So there are there will be no such gaps, and the government has committed to it. And large national policy for skill development and entrepreneurship. So there is a policy also, okay. And what are the government bodies available for skill development and entrepreneurship? So National Skill Development Fund, Ministry of Rural Development, National Council for Vocational Training, Director General of Department of Training, National Minorities and Financial Development, or not. So several such schemes are available. So what are the services? You have a separate ministry called Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. Earlier it was called SISI, Small Industry Service Institute, which was functioning there in Chennai. But later on in 1990s, late 90s, I should say, they have all been brought together under the banner of called Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises. In every state, you have MSME Development Institute, and they are following these services, implementing these services. So, entrepreneurial facilitation, MSME schemes, training, guidance on financial assistance, Udayam registration, incubation technology and transfer, project report, state district industrial profiles. So these all are required for prospective entrepreneur. So if you are really familiar with that, you have to go apply for the district industry center is one nodal agency where in a single window system they will capture to all the needs they have supposed to capture. You have to be careful in rendering, getting the services rendered. Then motivation, skill development, entrepreneurship, need-based training, guidance on financial assistance, Udayam registration, finally the project report. For the existing entrepreneurs also, MSME helps. Of course, this is not your cup of tea, but you only wish to become prospective entrepreneur, first generation entrepreneur, etc. But you can share this information like existing entrepreneurs also have some facilities, export promotion, MSME policy schemes, training. Training is given by MSME on management development program, skill upgradation, and marketing, and GEM. GEM is nothing but the government e-marketing. Then subsidy and reimbursement also comes under this, but it is dealt by the Development Commissioner, MSME. Then GST and Udayam registration go together. And there is also facility of cluster development. And existing entrepreneurs, they are performing extraordinarily, then the national award is also being given. Technical managerial consultancy is also one of the areas where the existing entrepreneurs require. And when you do that, this is the simplified way of availing the, I'll be listing the kind of facilities available with the government. So you have to register. First registration could be like just SSI registration, but subsequently you can go on and on to register whatever the issues you face. So it may be register, the first one be you have to register grievance, and followed by make suggestions. Sometimes grievance will be there. If you could also offer this is a solution, that will be well taken also. Then seek guidance, then place your idea. So something like that, you have different stages wherein you will be able to apply different strategies. Then, so having done that, you now view status, then officially also connect who, if it is there, it's okay. If it is not there, why, when will it be replaced? Then resources for champions, because all said and done, resource is very important. So there has to be some kind of allocation from the government or from the political parties to meet the expenses. Then you have to also get the feedback, and in the post-pandemic COVID-19, what were the situation of manufacturing, etc., etc. So there are many. What I'm trying to say is that all these are to be followed, and if you feel that it is huge, time-consuming, not able to really get it done, etc., you can always make a suggestion or even complaint about the person whom you are suspecting. So yeah, this the next part is the best government schemes for Indian entrepreneurs, because this is what very important idea. So meanwhile, if you have any, again it is not being presented. So yeah, if there is any doubt, please ask me before moving to the government schemes as such. Because we have just seen for the past 1 hour or so, what are the precautions for startups. Okay, what are the facilities available? Now I'll go to the proper schemes. I'll be spelling out the schemes. I also give the website addresses, the list of programs, etc. So when it is shared, you can click and see. So, is there any questions to be asked or any other clarifications? So, before moving to the next part, I'll answer that and go. Please ask me if you have any questions. Do you have any questions? Students?
No, ma'am, just waiting more to slide.
Okay. Otherwise, it will be a monologue. That's what I thought I should ask. Also, make students interact so that it will be breaking the silence also. Okay. So the second part, I'll be spelling out the various schemes available. You have Startup India Initiative. That is the first scheme. Followed, I'll be explaining one by one. You have Ebiz Portal, Atlas Incubation Center, then the scheme for scheme of support for international patent protection in electronics and information technology, SIP 8, Multiplier grant scheme, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, Software Technology Park, New Gen Innovation Entrepreneurship and Development Center, Dairy Processing. Okay, you also have Mudra banks. So this is the these are the different schemes. So we will see one by one. The Startup India. It is a microfinance for economically backward entrepreneurs, because in rural and in urban areas also you have a huge number of people working class, and they do not have any intention to even go for entrepreneurial activities. But you will see small means very micro scale of operation, running a petty shop, running a idli shop, running a vegetable selling shop, etc., etc. Somehow the women will be or men will be engaged in. Okay. So for that, you please inform this to all the members that there is a program called Startup India for economically backward, and they can avail up to 10 lakh loan without any collateral. Okay. So this is basically to provide microfinance, low interest loans to entrepreneurs from low socioeconomic background. Then the second second scheme is the Atal Innovation Mission. It is a flagship a project to foster a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship, encouragement of entrepreneurship at universities and businesses. This is the Atal Innovation Mission, is establishing world-class Atal incubators. So nowadays, it is the question of incubator. Even in, I was talking in the beginning that the students themselves could be given some opportunities to work within the college campus, wherein you will visualize the entrepreneurial aspect developing among the students. If one batch sees that these particular students are working after this and it's a good project, then the other set of students will also be approaching the other colleges to extend some opportunities. And students' entrepreneurship will be much encouraged by institutions. Then this Innovation Mission also promotes entrepreneurship and job creators. Next is Mudra scheme. So Mudra scheme is really Mudra in the of the different programs that the government of India introduced to capture the micro enterprise development or small enterprise development needs. Mudra is one, which covers the micro units, particularly in the rural areas also. It captures both rural and urban areas, but it is available to rural areas. And it was started in 2015 under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana scheme, PMY, and they have allocated some money also. And this encourages, if you have an example, I was talking about running a canteen in your own college. If the government, if the management offers that support, you need some investment, isn't it? So you can directly approach the Mudra scheme, where you can apply. If you go to the district industry centers or go online, where you will download the application and spell out all the requirements. Like you may need all the infrastructure, no small shop, maybe space will be given by the college, and you have to establish, and you have to buy vessels, you have to buy the containers, and you have to invest on the minimum products to be purchased. Everything you have to bring there in the proposal and submit. And if it is through, there will be a committee and they will be calling you for interview, and if it is through, immediately they will sanction the money. Okay. And the government is saying that you are not supposed to ask any collateral. So if you have completed your BA, BSc, you can avail this program without any collateral. Sometimes they may ask only the margin money. So for example, you're taking 1 lakh, you may have to give 10 lakh. And being women, there are also further concessions. And in this, you have 3 kind of loan: Tarun, Shishu, and Kishore. And the limit of loan is defined by this. Like if it is within 10 lakhs, within 10 to 15 lakhs, and 15 lakhs and above, are being divided in this. I'll explain that also later. And so Mudra schemes features very attractive in terms of interest rate. And you have 3 categories for service, for manufacturing, for trading. Then age is till 65 years. So it's not unlike in other programs, it is 18 to 35, only for the youngsters. But it is open to all the people. Minimum loan amount or no limit. Maximum loan amount 10 lakh. Processing fee illa. Collateral security not required. Repayment tenure up to 5 years. So you can decide the repayment. The next government scheme is Ebiz Portal. This is an internet platform for communication. So nowadays, I mean, the current context, you can't do away with without the devices, whether it is laptop or the phone, where you have to connect yourself with internet. And for this enterprises, there is a portal called Ebiz, and this is supported by Infosys as a public-private partnership arrangement. For Government of India, Infosys is doing this portal, running this portal, maintaining this portal, and serves as a communication hub for Indian investors and business communities. So if you go to this Ebiz portal, you will come to know what are the areas for businesses, prospective businesses, any new schemes introduced, support system available, etc., etc. And it is already operating in Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. This Ebiz program is available. Support for international patent protection and electronic information technology called SIP-IT. So this provides financial assistance to Msme and technology startups to foster innovation. And it recognizes the value and capabilities of global intellectual property and exploits growth potential. So basically, it is to provide, particularly when you are interested in starting a startup, export startup, then you have to move abroad. And when you are selling the product abroad, you have to have this patent booked. So patent rights, patent submission of application for patenting is very important. Another scheme is called Multiplier grant scheme. This is basically for research and development, industry, and academics. So now I can tell this program is one such program, like the Government of India through Ministry of Education sponsored this awareness program. And if anybody is interested, you can come out with the product idea or process, then you can apply this. What is called Department of Electronics and Information Technology. It is primarily to promote collaborative research and development between industry and academia. What is actually being what has been told so far is that there is lack of industry institution awareness. Sorry, in building or integrating them. So that has to be spelled out. Startup scheme allocated to rupees 36 crore for startups, incubators, universities, and accelerators. So there is allocation also. So all the emerging areas like artificial intelligence, technology, hardware, Internet of Things, IT services, all those newly emerging areas are being captured under this multiplier grant scheme. And you also have a credit guarantee fund trust for micro and small enterprises, where bank finance without collateral or guarantees required. First generation entrepreneurs to realize the dream of starting MSME. So basically, to provide credit guarantee that I don't have any guarantor, so the government is coming forward to give guarantee. That is what. And the credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprises is established by Government of India through SIDBI, the Small Industries Development Bank of India. And you also have another program called Software Technology Park for export. This is basically for export, and 100% export-oriented scheme for the development of export of computer software and professional services via communication links. Like you have n number of services, IT-enabled services and software package services. They will all be combining, brought here. They combine government concept of 100% export-oriented units, export processing zones with the notion of science technology park. So the STEP is also one of the, that is science and technology park also. Yeah, another important funding available, the scheme is available with the government is the rooftop solar PV power projects. This is a kind of environmentally friendly atmosphere, to bring environmental friendly atmosphere, or to install solar projects. So in many new houses that are being built, or even in our university, we have established a huge solar power project which saves, actually the power is being produced and transmitted to the government electricity board, and also it saves around 5 lakhs and odd is being paid by the government for the production of the electricity through solar power project, and it is being coming as an income for the university. And same is applicable to individual households also. So there are specific provisions as to how much kilowatt is to be produced and what is the subsidy level, etc. Another scheme is New Generation Entrepreneurship Development Center for students. So particularly for students, like you are also attending this, this new generation means you will be the first generation. Nobody else should have been entrepreneur in your home or house. So that is what New Generation Innovation Entrepreneurship. In Tamil Nadu also you have a separate program called NEETS, New Enterprise and New Entrepreneur Enterprise Development Scheme. And so this is implemented by the National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Primarily to instill the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship. So the students are there, students must come out with some innovation, and they have to be captured, they have to be mentored, they have to be given support. So that is the idea of this new generation innovation. And finally, the dairy processing and infrastructure development. This is very important scheme, particularly to those areas where the dairy processing is very much available. Dairy production will be available. So milk producing enterprises, multi-state milk cooperatives, milk unions, all these, they can apply for this, particularly to NABARD. NABARD is the implementing agency. And the size and other things, how much payment, etc., is being defined, and it is available. You can inform such schemes available to rural population also, where huge milk production will take place, but they may not know as to how is to be marketed. So with this, these are the various schemes available, government funding available. And apart from that, you have separate departments offering schemes. So I'll just spell out those schemes. The major one is the Ministry of Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India. So this the MSME is the kind of field institution. It is an institution which makes visits to various places and identify the entrepreneurial aspects and then help. So there are other organizations associated with MSME like Khadi and Village Industries Commission, National Small Industries Corporation, the Choir Board, etc., etc. And of course, District Industry Center is the next major nodal department. And MSME testing facility is also available, where which are the areas in which, etc. I have given. And you also have Technology Development Center. So Technology Development Center is in Tamil Nadu, in Hindi, where the Central Group for Technology Training. We also invited them to offer training here in our university campus, Bhardas Institute. And there are new extension centers also for MSME, and it is all available there in Agra, Hyderabad, and newly established technology development centers are there in Puducherry, Sri Perumbudur, and Coimbatore also. So what are the new initiatives that Government of India has brought in? So it's basically creation of Champions Portal for grievance redressals. So there is a portal where any grievances, for example, you are interested in startup and you started but no takers, that can also go as, so that like-minded people will come and help. So there are a number of other services, updating of project files, import substitution, schemes modification, GEM process of purchase, etc., etc. Distressed asset fund also is available, or what is called subordinate debit scheme for MSME. It is also basically a credit guarantee scheme for subordinate, wherein what is a kind of support system or assistance available is actually providing debt support in respect of restructuring of MSME. So MSME is being restructured, and it is no longer the micro and small enterprises alone, but all the type of industries in the current context. You also have collateral free guarantee, free loans of MSME till 3 loans, 3 lakhs of loans. Then energy audit also is being done, like every industry should focus on conserving energy, and therefore they can save energy. And if any point of time, if energy audit department comes and asks for the energy saving or conservation methods, you can just disclose, and that will constitute the major aspect of the development. Then you also have several schemes with the MSME, medium, small enterprises, micro and small enterprises. For each category, how much is required, etc., is being defined. The credit linked capital subsidy, I have already explained. So there are a number of other schemes also with the government of Tamil Nadu, where the MSME Development Institute will implement. So private industrial estate will bear some percentage of expenses. Then TANSITCO also, which is Tamil Nadu Small Industries Development Corporation, platted factory complex project cost 15 crore. So it is possible to create and upgrade infrastructure facilities through the loan. The schemes under Ministry of Finance, there are 3 schemes which deserves a mention. Atal Pension Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. So this Atal Pension Yojana envisages a universal security, social security system for all Indians. More than 9.3 lakh subscribers out of total around 2.15 crore subscribers under API. So this It's a privilege being offered for a pension of rupees 1,000 to 5,000 at the age of 60 years. And Pradhan Mantri's Jeevan Jyoti Bima again is to create a social security system for the poor and underprivileged. Then Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, that is basically to poor and underprivileged, the age group of 18 to 70 years. So 70. Okay. So these are the programs which being extended. Then Ayush Entrepreneurship Development Program is there, wherein Ayush is being the Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani, homeopathy, etc. are being encouraged. There is an institute called Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, that is EDII. You also have EDI here in Tamil Nadu, which is located in Hindi, Entrepreneurship Development Institute, Chennai. So they also provide various support organizing programs and also various other contexts. So this is the entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, because having done with the general entrepreneurs, we hear all women entrepreneurs. So women students are there, and therefore, what are the schemes available for women entrepreneurs? I'll try to finish in another 15 minutes. So women entrepreneurs in various schemes like Mudra scheme is there, Prime Minister Yojana is there, API Yojana is there. So we have just seen in the earlier slides that these are the major schemes available for the poor. So, but still, more than 81% account holders are women under Startup India scheme, because Startup India itself, Stand Up India scheme itself is mostly encouraging the women, and therefore it is 81%. This is an encouraging trend. And you have in Mudra 70% of the total loan borrowers are women, very good. And in the Prime Minister Jandan Yojana also, it is around 20.33 crore women beneficiaries. Then the AP also 93%. So it in a way indicates that some of the welfare schemes, we are not talking about welfare schemes, but entrepreneurship schemes. So in the welfare schemes, more women are being captured than men. Then there are major 8 government schemes available for exclusively women entrepreneurs. So Annapurna scheme is one. You can just go to the website and check what is all the requirement to avail this Annapurna scheme. And of course, the age is up to 65. So that is not a criteria. And SIDBI also provides support in terms of industry, security, repayment, refinance. Through there is a refinance arrangement, and they will pay. So another scheme is called Stand Up India scheme, which I have already mentioned. The main aim is to facilitate bank loans between 10 lakhs to 1 crore, at least one scheduled caste or tribes borrower, at least one woman borrower. So the Stand Up India is really to make the people who have been excluded, who have been marginalized, to stand up. That is why the name itself is Stand Up India. So that is why it is insisting that there has to be men and women, and Dalit community should also be, or scheduled caste community must also be added. And the second state government scheme is the Sri Shakti package for women entrepreneurs, where the State Bank of India implements this program and extends support. And there is another called Sent Kalyan scheme, which is, I have listed here what are the trades or institutions to which the Central Bank of India. This is a scheme implemented by Central Bank of India. So it can be to handicrafts, processing, garment making, beauty clinic, canteen, mobile stands, circulating libraries, day crushers, STD and Xerox booths, tailoring, agriculture, cottage industry, small and medium enterprises, government-sponsored programs, etc. So there are major various schemes and support is available. Mudra Yojana I have already explained. I can tell the limit alone. Shishu by very name says that 50% and 12% per annum. Kishore 50,000 to 5 lakhs, Tarun 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. Then you also have Orient Mahila Vikas Yojana program that is implemented by the Orient Bank of Commerce. And here again, there is no collateral required, and interest rate will be 2%. And there is another scheme called Bharatiya Mahila Bank Business Loan, which was established in 2015, but subsequently it was not taking off, and therefore it was merged with the State Bank. So now it is implemented by the State Bank of India, where the scheme implemented extends loan up to 20 crore for meeting working capital requirement. And apart from this, you also have schemes for the Tamil Nadu. So you have all these schemes which I have explained are available for Tamil Nadu. Apart from that, Tamil Nadu exclusively introduced two other schemes called Unemployed Youth Employment Generation Program and NEEDS, New Entrepreneur and Enterprise Development Program. UAGP, any individual, for example, people who are here doing your studies after your completion of BA, BSc, you can definitely take up under this scheme, UAG scheme, some self-employment loan. Okay, very easy to approach, and since it is only minimum you will be explaining, minimum can be done. Filling UAGP application by candidates, verifying eligibility of online submitted application by district industry center. So once you give the application online, it will go to the district industry center, and they will be sending you a call letter. Sometimes it will take time because they have to wait for more applicants, sufficient number of applicants, and therefore EDP may not be conducted immediately. Then receiving call letter, participating in the interview. So they'll conduct an interview to select, then recommendation to the loan applicants. And then they will again call for EDP, and after completing the Entrepreneurship Development Program, you have to actually get this submitted. Then after receiving the EDP, the completion certificate, and after that you can go and having attended the EDP, or simultaneously work to get all papers produced with the signature, relevant signature, required signature. Then you will be called for training, and that is what it will go. And finally, if you are successful, you would be recommended to the bank for the loan, and then they will give the loan with the stipulated time schedule, monthly EMIs you have to finish. And if there is any subsidy, for example, in UAGP you are taking loan or credit of 1 crore, 1 lakh, let us assume, then you will have 30% subsidy. And if you are from rural areas, 35% subsidy. So what does it mean? You will be paying only 65,000 out of 1 lakh loan taken. Okay. So these are the programs available to the government of Tamil Nadu exclusively for entrepreneurs. And another program is called New Entrepreneur Cum Enterprise Development Scheme, called NEEDS. So NEEDS scheme. So here it is like go up to 5 crore. It is not 50 lakhs, 1 crore or something. You can borrow up to 5 crore, and it can be either partnership concern or individuals. But there is a age limit also, and there is also educational qualification. You have to have any degree, diploma, or IIT vocational training. So that is very important, significant move here. So these are all the major government schemes available with the Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu for entrepreneurship development, and particularly to promote student entrepreneurship and also have industry academia interaction. Specific themes are available, which I have already explained. Okay. So apart from these, I do give some website addresses. I mean, if you click on this, you will go to this website, isn't it? That is what it is being. So Atmanirbhar Bharat Innovative Challenge, Samrit Scheme, Startup India Seed Fin. So these are all, I have given that in 2 slides so that you can click if you are interested to any kind of support which you would require in order when you actually what I should say, startup, you go and start. Okay. So for any other clarification, you can always approach District Industry Center, which is located just opposite to Hotel Sangam, there on the Collector Office Road. And if you want to specifically start enterprises with the support of Adi Dravida Welfare Association, you can approach THOTCO, so Tamil Nadu Housing Development Corporation, called THOTCO. It is exclusively giving training for SC/ST, and the competition will be less unlike another. But basically, even if you apply and if you say that you belong to SC/ST, District Industry Center will automatically refer that to THOTCO, and THOTCO will capture that. Okay. So with this, I'll stop, and you do visit all these websites, and you will get a lot of inputs about the kind of entrepreneurship program available and startups available, etc. Thank you very much. Now I leave it for discussion. If you have any clarification, students, please ask. Any doubt or questions or any clarification, please do ask. Any questions? Students, any questions? Faculty, colleagues who are present, if you have any questions, please ask.
No, ma'am, this is a time for a lot of things.
You can also share there in the wall.
Hello, madam. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I'm Revati from Aiman.
Yes, please.
Commerce HOD. Hello. Ma'am, I have a one doubt, ma'am.
Yeah, please tell me.
Intellectual patent rights அப்படின்னு வாங்குறோம்ல மேம், அதுல இப்ப த்ரூ ஏஜென்ட் வழியா தான் நாங்க பேட்டன் ரைட்ஸ் வாங்குறோம். இதுல இப்ப நாங்க ஒரிஜினலாவே நாங்களாவே இந்த பேப்பரை சப்மிட் பண்ணி ஒரு 2 members அப்படின்றது பேட்டன் வாங்க முடியுமா?
தாராளமா வாங்கலாம். உங்களுக்கு நமக்கு ஏஜென்ட்ஸ் என்னன்னா அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இது ஈஸியா இருக்கும், ஃபைலிங்க்கு நமக்கு அந்த ப்ராசஸ்லாம் ஏதாவது டிஃபிகல்ட்டி இருக்குங்கிறதுக்காக தான் ஏஜென்ட்ஸ் மூலம் போறோம். Otherwise, it is online. It's all online only. So we can ourselves file a patent and go for whatever requirement. In case if it is difficult, you can approach university also. We will help you. There is a separate department, IPR cell is there in our university. And being affiliated college, you are quite welcome to approach us also, okay, to the IPR cell, where guidance will be given, where you can directly submit the patent application. Yes. Okay. If there are no questions, we can close because people are leaving. Dr. Malati.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Madam.
Yes,
again,
please.
I ask one question, ma'am.
Please do.
Ma'am, approximate expenses of getting patent.
No, it varies. What is the type of patent you require? Minimum for the registration fee and all, you will have, it will be common, and the kind of requirement papers needed will vary. So if you could, if you want, I can give you a contact number also where you can approach. Okay, shall I give now?
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, anything else?
Thank you, ma'am, for your informative speech. Living is a state of gratitude in the gateway to grace. I now call upon Ms. S. Nalia Jaitun BV of 3rd BA to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. When life is sweet, say thank you and celebrate. When life is bitter, say thank you and grow. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank all dignitaries. On behalf of my college, I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of this webinar. First of all, I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest, Mrs. Professor Aiman, Director and Head of Department of Women Studies, Bharathidasan University, to take out time from her busy schedule to grace this session. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank our respectable Director, Professor Dr. M.M. Sahul Hamid sir, for his support and guidance. And I also thank our beloved Principal, Dr. Suhasini Ernest ma'am, for giving us this great opportunity. And I must thank the organizing team, volunteers for working hard to make this webinar a great success. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Manimekam, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
This is Dr. Suhasini Ernest. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thanks.
யாரு? சரி, ஸோ மேம் நாளைக்கு 10 minutes time. நாளைக்கு வந்து we will complete our attendance. ஓகே, இப்போ வந்து காண்டனேஷன்ல இருக்கு இல்லையா, காண்டனேஷன் இருக்கிற பிள்ளைங்களுக்கு மட்டும்